Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with If I Could Choose Only One Recording by Artist D, it would have to be Work W. Artist D is the conductor Kurt Sanderling. And I'm going to use this series to talk about some of the people who maybe not have been the most famous names, but who are certainly worth getting to know if you haven't yet. Kurt Sanderling, in case you don't know, was the dad of a couple others, Thomas and Michael Sanderlings, both conductors. There are Sanderlings all over the place. He was a German conductor who found himself on the left side of the Iron Curtain after the Second World War. And he was active as he was conductor of the Leningrad Phil at the same time as Moravinsky, at least for part of the way. And then he wound up in East Germany, and he had a blossoming of his career toward the end of his life. Now, being a dyed-in-the-wool German Kapellmeister type, which is sort of what he was, he could be quite stodgy. And in the German repertoire particularly, for example, he recorded 2 Brahms cycles, one with the Staatskapelle Dresden, which was fabulous, and the other with, I believe, the Staatskapelle Berlin, which was The same thing was true of his Beethoven. He could be marvelous. He did a wonderful series of concerti with not with Helen Grimaud, with, you know what I mean, Mitsuko Uchida. Thank you, my goodness. And then a really not very good symphony cycle with the LSO. There were moments when he could be really kind of crusty and dull, I have to confess. And later in his career, he tended to get even crustier. However, for the East German Deutsche Schallplatten label, he did some marvelous things, including stunning recordings of Sibelius, Shostakovich, and Mahler. Really wonderful collector's items those series were. And therefore, Work W, in this case, is Mahler, Symphony number 10 in the Derek Cooke completion. Now, see, one of the nice things about Sanderling is that he was friendly with Shostakovich. He was not against modern music, not at all. And he didn't have an attitude when it came to the completion of Mahler's 10th. So many people say, well, Mahler didn't finish it. I can only do the Adagio. There's nothing wrong with doing a completion. One of them. And Cooke's is the best, hands down the best, because it does the least. It attempts to simply show us where Mahler had gotten when he died, rather than pretending that you could do what Mahler would have done and then doing something that Mahler never would have done, which is sort of what all the other people do. They make other things out of it, but it's not Mahler. Well, this is Mahler. The genius of this performance of Mahler's 10th is that it really sounds like Mahler, as often as not. Yes, the textures are thin, deliberately so, but the playing is really good. The tempi are not like ridiculously slow. The whole thing runs to 73 minutes. The opening adagio is 23 minutes. Some people stretch it out to half an hour. The concluding adagio, or the finale, is 21 minutes, which is wonderful. Because the second half of it, the lead up to the big screechy climax that marks the return of the cry of whatever it is, horror from the first movement adagio, and then the whole sort of unwinding towards the end. Mahler didn't quite finish shaping that, I think, in my opinion. I think he would have cut it down somewhat or done something a little bit different somewhere to make it a little bit more convincing and to cheat the clock a little bit better. It can die in many performances. It really can. But this, oh my goodness, it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. He does not take Cooke's edition 100% literally. He adds a few things here and there, like a big swat on the tam-tam at the climax of the first movement, adagio, and that chord, the chord, the cosmic chord, wah! That comes out. He has a whack by the tam-tam behind it. It's wrong. I wouldn't have done it. Mahler wouldn't have done it. But what the hell? It works. But elsewhere, he makes little adjustments to things like triangle parts and whatnot. Little subtle things. But they make a difference. They really do. They add to the authenticity of the experience. And we accept it as reasonable. And like I said, it's well played. It's well recorded. It was issued separately. And it's in a box with like the Mahler 9 Das Lied and this thing, 10. It's a wonderful box. All 3 performances are excellent, by the way. But this is from this Sanderling edition that was issued, 16 CDs, the legendary recordings. I personally think it's a terrific set, but I'm not going to make a plug for it here because we're only talking about the single recording that will remain when all others are gone and the evil god Cancresans destroys classical music. Of course, one of the wonderful things about this series, since he told me to do it, the evil god Cancresans, is that I can duplicate or I can add other things by other composers. So, we're getting to the point where this whole concept of getting rid of everything but one work isn't going to fly. But for the time being, here it is. Kurt Sanderling, a wonderful conductor who deserves a great deal of respect, who did some amazing work on disc, and none finer than this Mahler Symphony number 10 and the Derek Cooke completion. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.